Hello and welcome to the Lore Report. I'm Dante.
And I am Kurz.
This is, in a way, the second part of a mini-series on Sombra, her ARG and her reveal. We're now in the gap between the final big hack of LumeriCo and her eagerly anticipated reveal at BlizzCon. So if you need a refresher, check out this last vid. If not, stay right here.
While we're anticipating story development with LumeriCo, the day started in a way we didn't expect with the discovery of this artwork for a fine art poster on the Blizzard gear store. Apart from being drop dead gorgeous, the image gives us some extra bits to work with. Firstly and most importantly, it confirms the leak from the Russian Overwatch group last month, along with the text about Sombra losing everything in the Omnic crisis, through to being forced underground due to unwanted attention. Secondly, it gives us her full look and hints at what she'll do in game. She's standing on a Volskaya Sviatogor and seems to be hacking it, for want of a better word. Hopefully we'll see the pinky purple NG tendrils in game when she uses her abilities. They're rather shiny.
Just before 6 PM GMT on November 1st, the ARG jumped into life in what is almost certainly the final sprint in the run-up to BlizzCon. Using both the Overwatch subreddit and the linked Discord server, she again recruited us in her attack on LumeriCo. Accordingly, the LumeriCo domain began to suffer from 504 and 502 errors, effectively invalid or no response. However, when it was up, the admin terminal became active as we expected in our last vid, and as indicated in an email to Maria Jimenez, it was now in safe mode and only she had access. Slowly, the detectives worked their way through several layers of security in the terminal following the override command, favourite film followed by favourite cookie flavour and then simply secret. This last one took the longest to work through though. The solution was found via a clue Sombra left in a corrupted email that led to the following through some purple highlighted clues and eventually to Open Anything 1.1.0, the answer to secret.
This opened up some additional fairly standard Linux commands, namely ls, cat and exec. In turn, ls listed the contents of a mounted directory, cat allowed you to read a file, and exec allowed you to execute another. Running cat on the HTML file yielded a key, which was of course behind a cipher. More importantly, running exec payload prompts you for an activation code, which turned out to be the tracer trial from way back in the Summer Games trailer. At this point, you get a moment in crime style response that simply states the Dorado nuclear plant is being overloaded. A short time later, the site corrupted further and a new style skull appeared by the LumeriCo company logo, along with a whole bunch of intermittent static. Clicking on this would bring up the following message, and excuse the dodgy translation, blame Google. Good job folks, I would not have done it without your help. Anyway, I got the resources needed for my next target. Wait to hear from me in the coming days. I'm going to send something to thank you, I wish I could do more. Das Vidanya, friends. The coming days obviously refers to BlizzCon, and the something she sent us was this spray, currently only found in the PC version. It's her sign-off that's more intriguing though. Das Vidanya is effectively Russian for goodbye. Is Volskaya her next target maybe? That would likely explain the John Polidara art, and the fact she's hacked a lone terminal there. Finally, a string entitled Misdirection was added to the source of the LumeriCo homepage, which led to yet another moment in crime style page. This simply said that data from the LumeriCo ziggurat had been forwarded, passwords were deciphered, and access had been granted to a whole new site, VolskayaIndustries.com. Currently under maintenance, look for the ARG to wrap up there in the coming days.
The BlizzCon opening ceremony is now only 2 days away, so while we look at doing our general predictions for reveals in another vid, this one is looking specifically at what we hope or expect to see from both her in the world and in-game. First up is something everyone expects, the final reveal of Sombra herself, but the manner in which they choose to do this is up in the air. Last year we had Mei, D.Va and Genji all revealed in one single vid, but with all the build-up and the fact that she's on her own means we can probably expect a bit more from her. Personally, we reckon it's likely she'll hack one of the panels, potentially even the opening ceremony, though whether Blizzard would prioritise the climax of her ARG to that extent is a bit of a long shot. Whichever panel it is will be a fine way to pull the ARG together, and it fits really well into the character Blizzard have been attempting to portray. Maybe she'll even thank all of us for our hard work over the past few months in helping her bring down Portero and LumeriCo. As for her story and her place in the Overwatch universe, that's harder to call, and from here on out we're breaking with low mana traditions and speculating more than we've ever done before. Sombra is currently pulling in two different directions. Firstly, we have her introduction, which was through a Reaper voice line, the old Soldiers comic, and the panels and file on Dorado. While the last of these is fairly ambiguous, the first two really do paint her as a bad guy. On the flip side is the final few months of her ARG. which paint her as a freedom fighter rallying against the supposedly evil corporation that's exploiting her people. In this, she's almost like a more clandestine version of Lucio. In the middle of all of that, we have her apparent distaste for symbols of law and authority, such as Overwatch and A Moment in Crime.
So, how will she fit in? As is usually the case with Overwatch, the timelines are a bit bendier than we'd like. The working theory is that the ARG is set in the past, relative to things like Old Soldiers, which is relatively recent. That is held up by Sombra speaking as a member of Los Muertos, against the leaked image that shows her having been forced underground and in effect leaving them, and backed up further by Los Muertos seeming to be freedom fighters in the ARG as opposed to the thugs they are in Hero. Some evidence even points to them working with LumeriCo by this point. As such, it's possible that she fails in her attempt to bring down LumeriCo and Portero, and the injustice of that pushes her towards the arms of Talon, and by extension Reaper. This seems more likely than a journey in the other direction, both for her and Los Muertos, but we'll wait and see what Blizz have for us. Finally, her place in the game. We've just had a support in the shape of Ana, and her design doesn't seem to fit a tank. That leaves offense and defense. In our view, it could go either way really. Her skills as a hacker and infiltrator hint at the ability to disable part of the enemy team's abilities or movement in some way, or maybe even hack health packs so they damage rather than heal the enemy. It's her name and the fact she's proven so elusive thus far that may give us the best hint though. Sombra means shadow after all, and in all the months she's been active in the community, we're yet to see any official image. This suggests an offense that can sneak into the backlines of the enemy for maximum disruption. As loath as we are to suggest it, there's certainly potential for some limited duration stealth or invisibility here. Finally, she appears to have an Uzi, which in keeping with the likes of 76's rifle and Tracer's pistols, is almost certainly hit scan, though likely with relatively high bullet spread.
Thanks for watching this episode of the Lore Report. How did you find the final stage of the Sombra ARG? What are you expecting from BlizzCon? Or better yet, what are you hoping from BlizzCon? The next few episodes will do our damnedest to cover everything we learned from BlizzCon, so stay tuned for lots of updates over the coming week. If you like this episode, please hit that like button, and if you like what we do, hit subscribe. Until next time, I've been Dantier.
And I've been Kers. Thanks for watching.